It's been about maybe 3 months since I received the two nightstands from my Fairfield client. She pretty much was done with it, so I said, okay, let me have them. I'm practicing my refurbishing, and they look like something I can handle. Had a couple of drawers off track and just needed to repair that, and they were missing the actual handles. So right here, what I'm doing is, my client is a hairstylist, so she was using the drawer as a catch-all for hair product and coins. So I took all the coins out, and now I'm cleaning out all of the items that I found inside the back of it, which it was probably before my client had it previously owned by someone that spoke and wrote in Spanish, because I found a letter that I'm going to have my dear friend Angela translate for me. There were side screws on the side of the nightstands. I think it was a poor attempt to try to keep the shelf up, that little shelf right there. So I just hammered it into place, actually. That's all I did, because I'm just using it in the design center. It's not going to actually house anything. So that's me trying to figure out if I got that to work or not. And I actually had to go in again with another nail. And then at this point, that was fixed. Just had to do a small adjustment at the bottom, and there you go. So now it's time to figure out the handles. Now, I had purchased handles almost 2 years ago when I went to Baltimore to meet my mom's side of the family. It was my first time being actually introduced to home goods, and I bought about 20 pounds of handles, y'all. And today was my first day actually using the handles, and I actually like it. I like the little rustic steel looking handles that I decided to add. However, oh, let me slow down. What I'm doing now is sanding the drawers that had that horrible like sticky stuff in it. I just did a shortcut route and sanded it down. I knew I was going to cover it anyway. So I'm sanding and dusting, just to make sure that, it's as clean as possible. And then I'm adding that liner, the drawer liner. I've had that for a while as well. But going back to the handles I got from Home Goods in Baltimore, and I bought like 20 pounds of handles, and 2 years ago, and today was my first day actually using a set of handles. Now, of course, they weren't the original handles for the drawers, so I had to make a run to Home Depot to get screws that will work with the handles, and I was successful on the first try with that. But I had to add a hole because the original handles were a little closer than the new ones. As far as the distance apart, they were closer, and I needed them to be further apart. So I drilled right there. I drilled additional holes for each one just to make sure the handles work, and took a minute, little elbow grease, and sure enough, I was able to install 4 new handles on the 2 nightstands. So this is me actually showing my drilling capability. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do any measurements. I was kind of lining it up and guesstimating, and I should have just did some measurements because I wouldn't have struggled as much as I did. But I was being the Aries that I am. I was being anxious, so. But I still got it done. I just could have got it done more effectively if I did the measurements. So I will one day probably go back and paint them, but right now I just packed up my tools and decided to give both units a good wash with Clorox wipes and nice hot water. So that's me right there, wiping it down first with the Clorox wipes and hot water. Cleaned up pretty good. The thing that you guys don't see is that I have a work desk in the design center that kind of matches those. So anyhow, kind of happy with it. I think they worked out just fine. Yeah, so that's me going back with just some nice hot water. Make sure it's... So I just make sure you guys head over to my YouTube channel, NeatFreaked by Angel. Click like, share, and subscribe. Mama Lo is coming, and we want to make sure that you're included on all the new info and all the fun clips and everything in our adventures. We have some surprises coming up, a lot of dialogue. So thank you for your support. Head over to NeatFreaked by Angel on YouTube. Take care. God bless.